play fans and build fans. So I actually had started this before. I'm going to kind of go back over it. But what we're working on tonight, we're going to be doing it for a while, is I've got the BBTiloBrix. This is the hardware store. This is 3,642 pieces. It is a huge, huge modular. Now, this is considered 14 and up. It's got stickers. It's got a lot of things in it. And I'm starting on bag 1. Now, I'm going to go bag 1, probably up through 5, and the sitting if I can. Now, one thing that I did bring up, whoops, was that I was looking. Now, initially, they have us building to this. Now, I'm not building to a base plate in the beginning. Here's my reason why. Base plates are usually pretty thin. I put this on the bottom, and if I'm going to raise up my build and mills plate it and have, you know, a little bit of height to it, these don't, you can't stud anything into this, so this serves no purpose. But I am going into one of these plates. I've already counted like which way I'm going to go with my, because these are specific to a certain size. Now, I do this because it has anti-studs on the bottom, so if I want to mills plate this, it's not like mills plating where I have like, you know, 4 16 by 16s instead of have a 32 plate. It'll still plate once we're done. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to this particular plate here, because this will be used down the road to put underneath this build as an actual mills plate. Now, I'm debating the stickers. I've already started. I've gone through, of course, step 1, step 2, step 3. I'm technically over at step 4. I started recording. I was like, you know what? This might be a little too much. Let me go ahead and just stream it and see if that doesn't take some of the edge off on building. But I'm not really, you know, I'll have comment box up, but I'm not really watching too much because I am solely right now focused on getting this particular build done. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we have one that's a modified. And my reasoning why, if people are asking, they're like, hey, you know, why is he not responding? Reason why is because I have to review this. And so I want to make sure I have enough time not only to build and, you know, get you content so you can see what the build is like, you know, in this particular build. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but also to do it so that way like I can work through problems as I'm working through, and I have it recorded and I can see it. I can see it in also live form as well. All right, so we're going to be coming in, it looks like right up in here where we left off over on here. We're going to be building up in here, so it looks like we've got 2, and we're going back to this cross section here. 1 and 1, 1 and 1, and now we're going to come down and we're going to do, let's see, let's actually go in line with what we had right here. 1 and 1, and then we're going to go this way. 1 and 2. Now, I will say so far the clutch power on these are pretty good. Pretty good, not too bad. Not too bad at all. And I'm not using their, like I said, I'm not using their mills plate. I'm using a little bit different. I'm not using a base plate. I'm using a, I guess, something that could be actually mills plated. It's a plate, but it can be mills plated. And again, the reasoning why has to do with the idea that I want to be able to mills plate this down the road. And I'm not sure, like, some of these big builds, I don't rebuild very often. I might take a little bit out to fix like things here and there, alter it just a little bit, but that's not something I normally do where I'm going and doing a lot of extra work on this. So like usually with some of these, once they're built, that's kind of it. Though I'm not gonna say I couldn't find enjoyment and love in doing it again. I think that would be actually kind of great. And maybe one day this will be. But this also has stickers that go along the outside wall for graffiti. And I'm debating on if I want those on or not. But also, I don't always like stickers that go over multiple bricks. And if I do, I like to cut them. And that's usually what happens. Even when I did the parking garage, you know, I love the Cyber City parking garage. I thought that was an incredible build. You know, a lot of it is systematic, same thing over and over and over. But I will say that when it came to the stickers, I had one sticker that crossed 4 tiles. I did not appreciate that. That is something I'm not a very big fan of. And I did. I cut all of them. 4, 5, and 6. I cut them all open because I just, I don't know. It's one of those bothersome things. It's not that it's a bad thing, and some people, they enjoy that, but I have a hard time getting behind that. That's not something that I am like keen on in every drop of the hat. It's not something I'm looking at. I'm like, hey, I've got to have stickers to go across it, and including when I had a sticker on the arcade machine that went on the side. I couldn't do it. I could not. I ended up saving those stickers for something else. I don't know. I think for me, because I do also enjoy the like aspects of the brick build. So oftentimes I want to be able to play and do and change and mock, and stickers can cause that to not work in the way I'd want it to work. But I'm not opposed to it. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not opposed to it. I'm just, as of right now, I'm not sure if that's something I would necessarily want. That is something I'm keeping in mind as I work and do this build. I just haven't quite completely sold myself on the idea, and there's nothing wrong with that, not at all. Okay, so we are building out a very big area right here. Kind of nice. I'm gonna go ahead and press all of that in, make sure it's all nice and flat. Make sure we have a good foundation on this. Right, make sure everything's nice and flat. Alright, looking good. Now, I want to tilt that just a little bit. It might make things a little bit easier to see. I still have light, but the camera is not completely blinded out right now, and I think that's a key thing here. Yeah, we'll kind of go up so we can see a little bit more. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. So that was number 5. We're on number 6. A lot of the steps, we have a lot of parts that are here. 1 by 10, so that's 5 and 5. We got one of those. 10 1 by 2s. There's a lot of pieces right now that are repetitive pieces, but it's not anything that's ridiculous. It's not like 14 different pieces at one time that are all different and they all have some sort of specialized function. This is very enjoyable in that, hey, we got a lot of tiles. We're tiling this floor. There's a lot that we're going to be doing with tiling this floor. This is kind of where we're at for right now, you know? And that's understandable. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then I need a 1 by 2 tile with a modified stud on it. And we're going to be up over here at this point. So it looks like we're coming up from here. I'm going to set that into place. And I'm building up from here. So I'm looking at this one, 1 and 2. And then I can build across. So kind of get my bearings. Once I get certain key elements down and it's easy for me to find where I'm at, then I can start moseying through and getting me where I need to go. There's a lot of floor to this. And I'm actually kind of celebrating the fact that there's a lot of floor here. we're going straight on this one. Boom. Boom. Then we'll go sideways on this one. And it looks like we're going to be going up one more, and that one's going to be sideways as well. Okay. Boom. And boom. Alright, we're going to press those down. Okay. I do like, honestly, I like these colors quite a bit. Kind of shocked by them, but I really like these colors. So 2x2, we got a 1x3. We need a 1x2 gray, a 1x1 plate. 8 of these 1x2 white tiles. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 right here, and then it looks like 7 of our blue tiles. We're kind of getting to an end of the blue tiles, it looks like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we got 6 and number 7 right there. Okay, and we're building up over here on this portion. So we're coming up over here on this area, so let's take right off the end of here, we're going to go with our white tile. And that looks like blue. Oh, wait a second. I did something wrong. Can you guess it? So I needed to start down here and mirror this over here. So we've got 1x1 plate up here at the top. And then that one goes there. Straighten these out just like that. Now I can tile up. And it mirrors this over here. So 1 and there. Then 2. Going up. 1 and 2. And then over here 2 going out this way. 1, 2. Got that one here. 1 and 2. 2 going across this way. 1 and 2. 2 going down this way. 1, 2. And then we're going across this way. 1 and 2. And then we got one more up at that top. Ah, goodness. Alright. So that is set right there. So that's 5. We're now, or that was number 7. We're over on 8 now. We still have more tiles. We're still tiling, man. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we got 4 of our blue tiles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We should have 6 of these white tiles. A 1x2. 1 of them. We have 1x2 bricks with the technical. And it looks like 2 1x10s. So there's 1 and 2 right there. And I'm looking up here because we are going to be pulling from here and building this area up over here. So let's see. From here it looks like we're going out 1. Down a blue and then a white. Blue, nope, I put it in the wrong spot. Blue and then a white. And then we've got one of these that goes to the bottom of the blue here. This is going right here on this end. Boom. This is going here with a 1x2 on the end. And then it looks like this is going here. Alright. So we are building, I guess, the barrier for this bottom area here, which is nice. Now with that, we've got 1. And then 1 and 2. These go here. We've got 1 that goes there. 1 that goes here. And then these 2 are going to be going vertical to me. 1 and 2. press everything down. And like I said, clutch power wise, this is nice. This is nice. This is definitely, I mean, it's alternative bricks, but it doesn't feel like cheap alternative bricks. I'm not cutting my fingers on any edges, which is what you want when you get into these and you get into alternative bricks. You're spending a little bit less. The last thing you want to do is cut your finger on a bunch of edges, and this doesn't feel that way. This actually feels rather nice. Okay, so we got this, a 2x3. Looks like we have one of these 1x6s. Let's see, 5 between them. 1x8. Let's count it. 4 and 4. Okay, and we're going to be building this area up over here. So let's take a look. From here, we've got our. We'll go across here. 1 and 2. Like there and there. Okay. We've got our tile goes right there. And we're going to go 2x3, a 2x2, and then we got a 1x1. Now we've got a 1x1 plate down here, and then we're putting an L tile right there. And then we're going to go 2 more tiles down, 1 and 2. It's going to go right here on the end. And I'm not sure, this might be a part of the sidewalk, honestly. This might actually be where the street lamp goes, which is kind of cool. There we go, that one there. Got 1, and then we're going to be putting another 1x2 up at the top. Let's count it, make sure everything at 1, 2, so everything looks like everything is all lined up. Make sure it's nice and pressed on there. I don't want anything to fall off. All right, again, clutch power on these seems pretty solid. So we've got, that was step number 9. Let's go on to step number 10. We've got our big, this is our big 2x6, a 2x4, 1, 2 of those. 2. Looks like 5 of the 2x3s. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then a 2x2 modified, a 1x2, a 1x2 modified, and then it looks like it's in light gray. Am I correct? Yes. It is a 1x2 grill. So it's a 1x2 tile that's a grill. Pretty nice. Okay. This is going to fit right to here. So we're creating, it looks like almost a step that's coming up right there. And then we're starting to build out right here. So we need a 1x2 here. We've got this 2x2 with a stud, so modified. This should line up with this edge and corner over here. Now this is where I am wanting to make sure I have everything settled. So it looks like 1 and 2. Okay, so that's our 2x3s. It's hard to tell sometimes with the 2x3s to the 2x3s to the 2x4s. They, when they're turned a certain way, they kind of look the same. So you're like, wait a second. So you kind of have to count them to see, like, hey, what is what? But yeah, we're building out. Looks like the sidewalk there. Press these all in. Nice and pressed. I'm impressed. Pressed. So 11. Here we go. We're just trucking along. So we've got a 1x1, 2 of our 1x1 plates in white, a 1x2 tile in charcoal, another L, looks like a 2x3, and then a 2x4, another 1x6 in white, 2 1x8s. I don't even have to look at this point, like I already know it's 4 and 4. And then it looks like 4 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, and 4. And these are going to be our edges down here. So we're going to go ahead and put our edges on. Boom. This is going to look nice. I think once it's done, this whole modular is going to look pretty spectacular. I think I hear somebody on the other side of that door. I'm actually kind of excited to say hello to them. All right. So kind of repeating what we did over here. We're doing the same thing over here for this. Boom. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. Should go here. This one connects to over there. This goes right on the end. Nice squared building. Squared. I like this. This goes here. Goes right up here. Take care of this. Alright. Kind of fix my sounds for me here. Okay, so another 2x3. Got one plate there or tile, and then a 2x4. Press everything in. Thankfully, gray wise, they kind of make a lot of the same colors as everything else, so this should fit in with a lot of the other stuff that I have. So when I am able to actually city plate this stuff, mills plated, it already has anti-studs under it because I did change that aspect. Now I will go ahead and tell you right now, this doesn't turn much, which is fine. The mills plates, even with the tiles on it, I think that would have been too much of a give. So that's definitely something I would say that would actually be a really good feature to change down the road. That plate sometimes can make or break a build, or at least like you got, if you do a base plate, then I would do like some plates on top of it just to give it a little bit more oomph to kind of make it a little bit stronger. I couldn't imagine trying to move this with a kind of a flimsy base plate underneath. That would be, in my opinion, a little too much. But you know, it still works. It's just, it's not very strong, and I think that's where I was like, when I looked at it and I saw that we were just using a base plate, I was like, nah, we can't do that. Can't do that. We want to protect that build, and we want that build to last, and that means if we're going to do that, we're going to need it to hold up just a little bit better. And I think just a base plate with tiles on top, as strong as tiles can be. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, in my ocean that I have for my little city thing I built over there, I have it to where I have, you know, plates and then tiles on top of a base plate. Okay. And here's kind of the difference. That's where that's going to be, and there's not a lot on top of it, so there's not like a lot of structural weight. There's nothing really on it. There's a ship, but if I had to get up and move that, that's a little bit easier to move. This one's going to have, picking up that box, this has got some heft to it. And I could imagine if you had to move this to a shelf, getting your hand underneath that base plate, it's going to be a bit of an unnerving process. It's going to be rather scary. And I think that's where I'm like, I'm not quite sure I could get behind that part. So, like I said, I changed mine out. I thought that was the better thing to do. And, you know, when I go down to review it, that is definitely something I'm going to bring up as a suggestion. Hey, as someone who does build, who enjoys builds like this, definitely look into doing a mills type base plate, something that's got a little more oomph to it, because that's going to save your build in the long run. Okay, now from up here it looks like we are going to be putting this right onto there, and I guess from here we're going to, you know what, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to build this out first. 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 and then another tile right here. Going 2 up, 1 and 2. Actually, we gotta move this, because I noticed something. I skipped the very bottom. Down here, boom and boom. Sometimes I will say, when we have a lot of directions at once, that's where we can start making some mistakes here and there. We're like, wait a second, what are we doing? Now this goes here. I might have separated some of this just a little bit. Need some space. 1, clutch into place. We need 2 spaces over. 2. This one goes on top. And this should leave us with a 2x2 there in the center, making an A. And now we're down to just bricks for this, which tells me we're almost done with back 1. Okay, so yeah, we're almost done with back 1. So at this point, it looks like it's the rest of these. We're just gonna pull all of this right over here. Boom. And let's start figuring where everything goes. This bad boy, it looks like it's gonna go right in here. These, so 2x2x3s. There, we got 1 and 2. And then this looks like 1 goes right here. This goes right here on the end. And I believe this is a staircase. This will actually be kind of a cool feature, because the stairs will actually build up and then go around, and it goes all the way around to the back, which will be nice. And then, so we've got this, boom, boom, and then this should be going across right in there. Excellent. Alright, that's back 1. This is back 1. Let's take a look. I am wanting to, as I'm working on this, I'm wanting to make sure I get, oh, I don't need to see my face. Okay. Now, let's reach down there. Let's find our parts for back 2. Got my plates here. Grab my box. Bag 2 is right here. And it says that we will need bag 2, and then we will need 4. I believe these are white 1x12, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. How do we know they're 1x12s? 3. So 3, 3, 3, and 3. Yeah, 3 times 4. Now I am saving the numbered bags. So these bags right here. So the kind of the cool thing is they have this, then they have all the smaller bags put in there. So if I ever want to take this apart by bag, I could put everything back in numbered bags. That is seriously very cool. I happen to like that a lot. That's something that did not have to happen, but it's happened, and I'm okay with that. Absolutely okay with that. Okay, so we got that one, this one, Now, these bags, however, that get torn up, I don't have to say those. Got some cool pieces and parts, it looks like. Making sure those are all nice and empty. A trash bag, a red cup. Okay. And then we got our plates over here. And yeah, let's get into this part of our build. Let's figure out what we're doing. So we're going to be moving up to this office space and getting all of this done. So we're working in small sections here, and that's okay. But we'll add some to our stairs. We'll add some to the interior, and we're just going to kind of move up and mosey on up through this build. So we need 1, 2 1x3s. Looks like we need a 1x4 tile. I might have to do this. I might have to separate some of these plates and bricks, tall things. I'm afraid of kicking them out, digging through for parts. There we go. So let's see, what size is it? It looks like a 1x4. There we go. Need 2 of them, 2 1x4s. 2 of these light gray 1x4s. Need 1 of these rail blocks. 2 of these 2x4 bricks. 2 1x4 bricks. And it looks like I need 1 more of the, it's like gray 1x4 plates. Now there is, and I'm going to go ahead and say there is distinction right now between, we got gray, we got white, we got robin's egg. So there are some different colors in here. So we're wanting to make sure that we have the right colors. Let's see. Oh, hey Jeff, cracking over your heart candy box video. That's cool. I'm doing this because I've got to get the review done in time. So I'll be focused on this. But Jeff, how are you doing? You doing okay? So we've got this. We're gonna pop our 2x4. 1x4, and then looks like we're building 2 plates up, 1, 2, and then we'll be adding to this. Now they have a little bit, so we're using the rail here to have a little bit of lip, because I believe this is like a step, almost kind of a step up sort of thing. And so we're building these up this way. And I'm not sure if this is like a desk or what we're doing in here, but there is like a nice gradual step as it goes up. Okay, so we do have here 1 1x3, a 2x4, a 1x4, 2 of these, and they're 1x8. So we're going to grab 2 1x8s. I believe we're working on our stairs portion now. And put that bracken away. I don't know why you're out there. 1x2, and then it looks like a 1x1. Boom. All right, so we're building this up right here, and it looks like we're going to be going like 1 step back. So we got this here, 1 step back here, a 2, then a 3. Putting, it looks like the 1x4 on top, and then we're railing these 2 portions out over here, just like that. So we're building these stairs up, and now we're moving over into this area here. Now this one has got, we got some tiles here, so we've got 1, 2, let's see, So I've got one bricked wedge. A 2x4. A 1x6. Another 1x8 right here. I might have to line these up just so I don't miss on anything, because there's quite a bit of parts here. It's not that it's, you know, too much, but there's quite a lot. So it's like I want to line them up to make sure I have everything, because it's easy to skip a piece of portion apart and not be able to go backwards again. And then I need, looks like one, and that's a dark gray. That's actually a dark gray. Okay, let's see. I know it's got to be in here. Ah, found it. Found it. If it had been a snake, I'd have struck it in the face. No, that's actually not true. It would probably have eaten me. Alright, so we are stacking, it looks like 1, 2 plates, 1 tile on top. So a little bit difference in color, so that way instead of it being like a brick with a stud, we've got 2 plates and a tile. It seems, I feel like there's a way we could have staggered that. That feels a little loose in my opinion. But I'm also trusting the process. Could very well be wrong on this. Putting a brick across, again, another step. And then it looks like 1x8, 1x6. And then this is going to be fitting right into here. And we're going to hollow this out. This seems like this probably could have used like a door or drawer or something that we could have popped open and use that for storage. But at the same time, I understand what we're doing. What we're doing here is we're keeping it as a as just a stairwell. So I get it. Same thing kind of happened with the Midnight Haunted Mansion. That one being about 1,000 pieces less than this. But I will say with that one of the things I did appreciate about what TayRayGun did on that is that they took the empty area and then they made it to where you could take the top off, and it actually is kind of a really good hiding place for 5 and 6. So I mean there's some cool stuff about that particular build that I absolutely adore, just because 5 and 5, one more, just because there are some interesting build techniques. But the main thing is that there's hiding room in a lot of the builds, so you can kind of put things to the side, hide it away as you were. Okay, so we're going to be going 2 back, so we're leaving 2 studs open here, because we'll probably be building windows up there. So we got 1. Oh, we'll just line up, please. 1. And then it looks like another 2. And then another one back, 3. Now one thing I noticed, there's not a lot of like kind of staggered overlapping, and sometimes staggered overlapping, especially building walls, can kind of help build like it can kind of solidify your build, make it feel a little bit stronger. There's a few areas that feel just a little loose because it does not have that staggered building. But we're also not, we're far enough ahead, but we're not as far enough ahead to kind of call, you know, foul on this. Okay, so our 1x10s are kind of holding a lot of this together, which is nice. That is kind of where we need to be. Boom, boom. Bum beauty doo doo boo. All right, this is not a 1x10. That, however, is. Tried to put a 1x8 on there. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you people? All right, so we got this down here. Now we are doing kind of a, it's almost like a robin's egg. It's like sand blue, and we got sand blue, we got gray, we've got dark gray, navy, maroon. There's a lot of like colors here, and they're fairly dull, but they feel like real world colors in this sort of way. And I'm digging that there are more companies that are willing to do, I guess, what you would think of as like uglier buildings. And I wouldn't say ugly buildings. I don't find this ugly at all. But it's more like buildings that you would see in a city that most people would just overlook. They wouldn't look at it and go, hey, that's amazing architecture. But we're getting to build it. We're getting to look at it and kind of amaze in the build, I guess you would say, of what they're doing. And I happen to like that. I like that a lot of companies are taking that sort of approach, that sort of thing in mind, because a lot of us like building those sorts of things and kind of getting some new aspects and stuff. I have a feeling, again, this is going to be heavy, which is why I went with a base plate with anti-studs underneath instead of going with just the base plate. Base plate, I think, would have been way too thin. As a matter of fact, here in a minute I'm going to pick this up and look, because I have a feeling that if this had been a base plate, some of this would have slid off and fell. Want to make sure you have a good sturdy table for this. Alright, press all that in, make sure it's nice tight. Yeah, if this had been, look right there, if this had been a base plate, and I'll grab the base plate. Now it came with the base plate, look right there, but we would have tiled right to that. That's almost too flimsy. I'll use that on the very bottom, but you need something a little more oomph. I think that's something, if you do get this, I would definitely suggest, hey, get this. It's wonderful so far. It's a beautiful build, but definitely change out that plate. Either mills plate it with 4 16x16s and bricks underneath, or do it to where you got a 32x32 with anti-studs underneath. You're gonna want something there. 2 1x12s, 1 1x8. Now I can have that 1x8, can't I? Boom, it's right here. 7. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. About to do it. 6, 7. And then, of course, we got a 1x3, a 2x2, and then a 1x1. Now, we're laying down the foundation portion. We're putting the white down, and then we're going to be putting the sand blue on top. Let's count them. It looks like a 1x12, and then it should be a 1x8 with the 1x1 on that corner. So there is some staggering here, which makes it okay. And then we got our 1x12 down here. Boom. With it staggered up as we're going, this will make it a lot stronger. And this, again, this is what you want. You want some staggering. You want plates and bricks and stuff to be slightly askew from one another, so that way they do create those connections. Because if you have shear points on all the bricks and they're in the same area, they just kind of fall apart. It's ugly when it happens. I have and Jeff, I was going to tell you, because you really like that parking garage quite a bit. But before I went in and started changing some things, I had some issues where I dropped it because all of the tiles were on shear points. So when I picked it up, holding it, it popped out that way. It didn't have enough oomph. It didn't have enough staggering plates to keep it all together. I did not film that one. I did not think people wanted to see that and hear my undisciplined mouth talking about it afterwards. Yes, I can be undisciplined in my speech. It happens. Not often. I don't like it, but it does happen. Yeah, it is definitely one of those that every once in a while I will, and especially here lately, it's happened quite a bit, and it happens in front of my kid. I actually am quite embarrassed by it because it's like I really don't want to have that. I don't want to have language, and I don't want to. It's not who necessarily who I want to be. So I have to work even harder. I have to have that self-discipline in order to change those aspects, even though I really want to say it. But they do say that, cursing and doing that is supposed to set you free and make you happy. I don't know about all that. I'm not quite sure if I really believe all that or not. But yeah. What do I know, right? Just a brick builder. I'm just a dude in this world. Alright, so we've got that right there. We're going to drop that on. I'm trying to see. He's actually... Oh, he's on Twitch. That's why. That's why. I was looking. I was like, I can't believe I missed his comment. Well, I don't have my comments on over here on the live because I was so focused on this. I wasn't thinking about it. I honestly didn't know if... I didn't think anyone was going to be on. Seriously, I was like, oh, I'll just get on, record, do it, work through several bags. No one will be the wiser. It's late. But Jeff is here, and I do want to acknowledge. But I was like, where... I was like, what? Which one is he on? And come to find out, he is actually on my Twitch right now, which is kind of wild. Pretty wild. Okay, so we're building this, and now it looks like we're building a new section. So let's check this real quick. Ooh. All right. Let's see. We got 1, 2 of these L bricks. 1 and 2. We've got a 1x8. Now, how do we know they're 1x8? Well, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If there's 7 of these little dots underneath that, you know that's a 1x8 because there are 7 spots in between each one. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, and these are actually called panels. So they're 1x2 by 2 panels. It looks like we need 1x1s. I got a lot of headlight bricks, but we need 1, 1, and I bet you I have 1 more in there. Ah, there it is. And 2. Now, set that one out to the side. I mean, it looks nice. We've got a bottle, some things up here. Now we are building this desk area. Now, interestingly enough, we're building it kind of, instead of plating it at first, we are building it up into this. This sometimes can be irksome because then it's like, all right, now I have to line everything up, fit it over into here to do this. But this isn't like, the Slubon set trying to go underneath the piece to put on. We're doing it all beforehand, which can be fine. It can be fine. But that does leave us with a whole bunch of extra built pieces over here, and then we're kind of moseying on over into that over there. We got a gold piece. Now, looking at this, it's hard to tell that that's gold. They didn't put a little... like a little sparkle on it. I think that would have been a key area. Now I can't tell. I think this is okay. It's not gold. It is this piece, which is a 1x1x2 plate. Not a tile, but an actual plate, and it's 2 plates high. Now, we do have a printed piece. We got one here that says no checks. We got a letter over here. I don't think that's it. We're going to pull our printed pieces. We're going to put them over here because we've got a lot, actually, apparently. More than I was planning. Quite a few, but it's on a 1x1 tile. So I need to look to see if that's the... We also have this one, which is the Daily News. I believe that's what that is. The Daily News, that is. And then a 1x2 modified tile. We got 2 of those. And then 4 of these brown headlight bricks. Let's just hope that this company doesn't suffer from the same problem that Lego has with their brown mold injected bricks. That is usually the brown mold injected usually becomes such a downer for most of us because we inherited a whole bunch of old Lord of the Rings and Hobbit sets from our friend. And I was like, I really want to put these sets together. And as I'm working through, I think I'd found like the sheets and went to print them off and started putting it together. And a lot of the plates have just been basically busting. They're just like falling apart on me. And that puts me in such a sour mood that I really don't want to deal with the build anymore. And that's like one of those, like, that sort of part with the brown mold injection just kind of, it kills me because we want them to last, we want them to live through everything, and I couldn't imagine like owning a set like this, having the brown in it, dropping it, which sometimes those things happen. We drop it, pick it up, it's like no big deal, but half of your brown pieces are destroyed, and that's where like that part of like, I wouldn't want that to happen. And I'm sure at this point Lego and other companies are working on it. I haven't had that with Lumi. I haven't had that with of course oh my goodness, not Brick Tech, but not Block Tech, Brickcraft. But I will say this, it's also one of those things where I haven't really been, I guess, like building enough, or no, it hasn't been around long enough that I think it's okay, that it's not going to be a problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think some of the problem that we've had with Lego with their brown mold injected pieces, oftentimes those pieces are also like falling apart because they have sun damage on them. Or at least that's my takeaway. Okay, so we got 2x8, 2x8, 1x3, just one of them. We need 2 of these, of course, modified 1x2 tiles, and we're using them as drawer facings. So we've got headlight bricks and drawer facings. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can always tell a headlight brick because it has a little indention in it. So it's like a snot brick, but it has an indention, and that indention is what makes it what we like to call a headlight brick. Now it says I have 1 compass in here, so our little hardware store has a compass, and it'll be a 1x1 round tile. I just gotta find it here. I bet you this is it right here, in gold, by the way. So it's not my Lego one that I have, the compass itself is kind of an injected gold, but it's not as vibrant. This has kind of a brighter brassy sort of sheen to it, so it definitely stands out. that sort of case, it's like, yeah, I mean, it looks legit. It looks a little bit more the part. I'm digging it. Absolutely digging it. Okay. So we're going to snap all of these down right here. This goes up on top, and that's going to go on the end. Now, let's build the counter. So we've got our 2x8. That's going to press into there. We actually need a 2x3, I believe. Is that right? I have over here, I had it saved as a 2x4, but that's not it. Hey, hey, Jeff. I saw you. I saw the other thing there. I was commenting back. Yeah, you were cracking up about my Brickcraft heart-shaped box thing. I told my wife what I was filming, and she's like, "You are just such a goof." But that's the lady I talked to. That's actually my wife. But yeah, she is. She did let me know that I am absolute goof. And yeah, I asked her to be my Valentine. Be my Valentine. Okay, so this is gonna go here. So I'm gonna press these down now. I want to make sure. I'm gonna pull this out real quick. I'm gonna pull each one of those. I want to press them in. I want to make sure that's got a nice clutch to it. Again, kind of weird that we're not using the, I guess like the I don't know, the a 2x2 modified tile over here for this back portion, because there is a spot where it seems like one of the tan pieces sits up higher than the other. It looks nice, but now when I press this in over here, it does feel like it sinks just a little bit. Like it feels like the counter over here is a little bit lower than the other. I want to go back and just make sure that I got that right. Card. I mean, it looks like that's it. It's just, yeah, this one just feels like it's sitting so much lower than that. But it is technically on the same level. It is definitely on the same level. It just feels off in, I guess, that instance, but it does actually work with what we're doing. All right, so that was 25. 26 over here. Now this looks, let's see, it looks like we're okay, so we're building a lamp. So let's grab all of our parts. We got a yellow translucent 1x1 round stud. We've got a pin and bar. All right, let's take a look here. I know we have it in here. I've passed it. We do have a droid arm, but it's a droid arm that goes, yeah, it goes from vertical to inverted. We've got this pin and bar piece. We've got a pin here, so tile with pin. And it looks like we have a gray one as well. So kind of building what feels like an old school lamp here. Old school lamp, and we'll actually be building an old school telephone out of this by the time we're done. Okay. Man, I am doing okay. So I actually, this was a set that I picked up, and it's a set that I'm reviewing. So I wanted to make sure that I got all the footage in for it to make sure I was reviewing. And actually, all in all, starting it was a pretty good set, but you know, being someone who's done quite a bit of builds and having kind of that background of, you know, I'm walking into this and I'm looking at certain things, out of the gate, the first thing that I saw is that there was um, the first actual instruction was tiling down to a base plate. It's like, okay, you know, small build, something like that, okay. But for me, I know that I'm going to be mills plating it at some point, so I wanted to make sure I had studs, plates on it, that sort of thing. But I was looking at it, and they were putting tiles directly to the plate. Now, this is not the plate that came with it. This is one that I pulled that has the anti-studs on the bottom, and it's a little bit thicker, but it's a base plate, and so it was thin. I was like, I couldn't imagine picking that up, because that whole thing would have just felt like it was like wobbling. And so out of the gate, I was like, yeah, I'm already in my review. Like, I'm loving what I'm building, but already in my review, I was like, there are some things key things that I would change. And I think that's what they're doing, is that they're having me look through, build this, figure out, hey, what good, bad, what could we change down the road, that sort of thing. And so I'm documenting a lot of it right now, but I'm also building and kind of getting what I can done. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a documenting process, because there it is. Because there's a lot to this. It's 3,642 pieces. So there's quite a bit to it. I've had it for a couple days. I had to reach out to ask them, like, hey, what are we wanting to, when I make post about it and everything, what company are we wanting to say? We had decided on the TayRayGun, which is the company that I got it from, and so that's what we're going with. And so I'm building this out now, and it's a hardware store, and so far, like, I think it's going to be one of those amazing pieces, but there are some key changes I would suggest for people to do if they get it, because it's a good price, but I would definitely suggest some key changes for certain parts, switching out certain plates and certain things in order to make that build just a little bit easier, I think. That's great there. Yeah, and I mean, that's they it's one of those where it's kind of like they brought me in to get my opinion on it. So I was like, yeah, it totally makes sense to me. Totally fine by that. This is definitely up my alley. This is something, you know, I'm a teacher, so for me, like, I'm staying up late. I probably shouldn't stay up late because I've got kids tomorrow, but this whole week is kind of a weird week in that we've got fundraisers and other things going on, and there's like lots of, the kids will barely, you know, I teach arts. I at some point the kids will be in my room, but they're there for just a short while, and we're in the middle of a project, but we can't like just pick up because the kids would only have like 15 minutes to work on it every day. So it's like one of those where it's like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna come in here, work on this, try to get this settled so I can get the review done and sent in, and I'm square with them. And the kids, yeah, they'll be fine. Yeah, it's one of those. It's a weird sort of week. Let's just say weird. Yeah, it's one of those, like, anytime I love Adventure Dash, and normally when Adventure Dash comes along, like, you know, I'm usually out there with the kids during the big day when we're running. Last year, I had color dust from my head down to my neck into my clothing, where a lot of the kids, they raise, because what it does, it raises money for our school. And so this one class that my friend was teaching, they raised quite a bit of money, and they got the color blast for their class. And I can't remember, there was something else, like some of them got bubbles, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff. Well, I was out there because we're considered specials teachers, so we're out there kind of doing, you know, we would have specials classes, so we'd have like the kids come to our class and learn like art or PE, but if their recess time is them doing this adventure dash, that means that we're now out there doing the adventure dash. It's like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. But last year I was out there and I was running around like crazy, and I'm a big dude, so I was running around like crazy and jumping around and having a good old time. And I remember at one point my friend, they were like, "Hey, we won the color blast, so can we color blast you?" I'm like, I don't know. And they just go, boom, and I just got doused with color all over the side. So I had to go home before I came back to do the bus. Oh, you finished your train set. You had mentioned that you were close, that you were working on it. So when we talked on Saturday, you were working on it, but it wasn't done yet. So you did finish it. I'm guessing, I haven't been on, but I'm guessing you posted about it, so I need to go to your page and check it out. What kind of train is it? Is it like an Old West train, or actually I've got one train coming in. It's a cheap train, but it's a metro style train for the city, and I have not gotten it in yet. I'm starting to worry a little bit because it has not shown up. Alright, that's gonna look nice right there. And then let's build our phone. So we're building our phone. Is pretty cool. We've got a cheese wedge with printing on it, a plate with clip, and then a telephone on top. Here, I'll kind of bring it up so you can kind of see it. That's our telephone right there. Yeah, the Polar Express. That's right, the Polar Express train. Yep. I saw the other day, I was here. That one goes right into here. I'm gonna plug that in. It goes right there. Boom. The other day I saw a family up at Target, and they had the Arctic train, the Lego Arctic train. And they were getting it. I was like, oh man, it's like, that looks really cool. Like, I'd love to get that particular train, because it just looks like the whole thing with the crazy orange and blue and white. It just looks like a really cool build. But I don't have that money. Let's see, steam engine and coal tender. Yeah, the one that they had was a more modern train. The one I ordered is kind of more like a monorail type train, but it has not come in. But I love, like, I always wanted, when I was a kid, I had a model train that I used. It was a pretty large scale, and I put G.I. Joes in them, and that was the train that went around my bed. I loved it. It was something I got for Christmas one year, and just, I was enthralled by trains. I loved them. My dad, when he used to be with it was called Lions Club. It's like a non-charity, or it's a charity non-profit sort of group. And when I was growing up, they had at the zoo a small train, and he would be the conductor sometimes for the train. So when he would go and work at the zoo, if I was there with him, I got to sit on the train, and I would like ride the train all day with him, and I absolutely loved it. Small little train. I mean, it's still in operation to today. And I mean, it's small. It's small. Just has carts on it. It's nothing crazy. But I absolutely, like, I love trains. I think they're really cool, and there's something kind of romantic about them that we kind of don't really deal in trains too much anymore, and that's kind of sad, because they're still a pretty good way of moving items across the states. They're still very effective. As a matter of fact, we got a few rail systems here in North Texas, and they work pretty well at getting people around. There's a few times I've taken the rail because we're at the very tip top of the Golden Triangle, which is where Dallas, Fort Worth. We're denting up at the very top, and we have a little train that comes here that we can take down into the Louisville, Dallas area, and then we can use that to go catch a couple different lines and go all the way into the K. Bailey Hutchison there in Dallas. Normally I don't take it though, and one of the reasons why is because when I'm in cosplayer costume and I go down to Dallas, A, it's hard to move around, but B, the second part is that we often, like, the rails stop at a certain time, and we're usually out last. So let's see, 1 by 1. We've got a 1 by 2 over here. Let's find it. I guess I can throw these back in here now. 1 by 2. Got 1 by 3. 2 1 by 4s. 2 of these 1 by 4 bricks. And then 1 by 10. Let's count them. 5, 5. That's a 1 by 10. I need 2 1 by 1 bricks and white. 2 1 by 1 bricks and sand blue. And then I need 2. Okay, so I've got a 1 by 2 in white. It looks like a 1 by 2 in sand blue. So, there we go. Alright. Clutch power on these are pretty good. There's a few areas where I've been kind of concerned that they're actually holding all the way, but so far, no problems. We're going to snap. Okay, so this, I'm going to have to do it this way. Snap to there, snap to there. Another 4, right? And then a 3, a 2. Okay, so we're building them up like that. And then we've got 1, 2. Let me fix that real quick. Alright. It goes to here. Here. 1 by 1, and we've got a pattern going here and here, and then this one's going to go right on the end. Boom. Alright, this particular piece here, we've got one. It looks like it's going to be going up over here for this back wall. Am I right? We're going over here to look. Okay, so yeah, it's going right in here. So we've got that on ground level. So kind of matching the line work that we have over here. And now 34, we're building up the next one. So another 1 by 10. Let's see, 5, 5. 1, 2, 1 by 6s. 1, 2, 1 by 4s. And let's see, another 1 by 2. I know it's in here. It's like one of those things that when you get to where you're kind of the bottom of the barrel, it shouldn't be too hard to find things, but when everything is the same color, it can be kind of difficult. There you go. 1 by 2. It's like I'm working backwards here. 1, 2 of these 1 by 2 bricks, or sorry, 1 by 1 bricks and 1 by 1 in white. Yikes. The train was, let's see, so the train says very solid and heavy. Yeah. Yeah, it has to be, you know. Does it have the motor in it and everything, so it actually runs? That was the thing. So I got mine off of AliExpress, and I was like, hey, I haven't received it yet, and I'm really kind of worried because I haven't seen any updates on it in a while, and I'm like, am I actually gonna get my train? But it has like a station, couple of minifigures, which obviously use Lego molds, but they're not actually Legos, so kind of, not appropriate, kind of stolen, but I'm fine with that. I'm pirating Lego figures apparently. So the that train, they're not always so like completely and open in their script of everything that this thing comes with. And so I'm getting it, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. And I start thinking about, I was like, I don't actually know if this has all the parts in it. So I'm hoping. It says no, but it has gears to make the wheels move. That's actually cool because you can get. Sometimes you can find the oh my goodness, the Lego motors for fairly inexpensive. I'll keep an eye out and see if I come across any that's listed somewhere online. I can probably shoot that over to you. But that'd be kind of cool to get it actually moving. Now I know one of my neighbors. He's got a lot of train stuff, and he loves like Old West. But all of his stuff, like his train, he has a bit of track built, but he doesn't actually have like the train motorized and moving. And I think his reasoning why is because he doesn't have the tracks finished and he doesn't want to do it. I personally, if mine has a motor and I'm able to get it moving when it comes in after I build it and everything, and if I'm able to put up in the city, I definitely want to do track on it. But I'd like to build like some things up one level, some things down a level, and then have the train go over some areas at one point and kind of do a futuristic sort of crazy sci-fi thing. We'll see. We'll see. There's a good chance I won't be doing any of that anytime soon. I have a feeling over the summer one of my key things is to come in here and like kind of clean some things, probably sell some things, make some room, pack some stuff away. I'd like to fix up the garage and change some of the storage units in there to make storing things a lot easier. I'd like to install like one of those fans that draws all the hot air out and makes it easier to be in the garage, because that's where all my tools for woodworking are. So for me, it's like I'd want it to be cool and to be functional. So I've been looking into a cooling system that will allow me to be in there working, and it'll also save a lot of our stuff to keep it from breaking over time. Because I have like bins of like old Nerf guns and all sorts of stuff. Though I'll probably this summer, and that might be something I do, is kind of go through and sell some of that, because there's stuff I don't really need. It says the track piece it comes with isn't really long enough for it to go very far. Yeah. In that case, then it's like, it's sold in that way. Then it's sold as a display, and I like that they give you the option to allow you to put a motor in if you want, because you can buy track off of like AliExpress. I got some cheap tracks because I was going to extend my rail system for my BBTiloBrix tram, and I was gonna to do that. I just haven't done it yet, because I don't have a place to put it just yet. Not until I think once I clear out some areas, I build a table, get some stuff going, I can get these things built, put out, and build track. But anytime that there's a sale, I'm able to buy some of this stuff, I'll get it here and there, so I have it, and I have it available. And that allows me to kind of when I get ready to play, I already have all my parts and pieces and stuff. But the problem is I get it, and then I still have to store it somewhere. It's your bedtime? Hey, I'll see you later. Technically, it should be my bedtime too, and I'm not going to bed just yet. But hey, you have a good night, brother. Take care. I'm going to go check out the train on your page. I want to go see that. See it finished. Last we talked, it wasn't finished just yet, so I want to go see it now. Alright, I'll see you later. Okay, so it looks like we got 2 display pieces here. Now this one is kind of interesting. It has it going, you know what? I'm going to alter this because much like the table, I know we're building up on it, which is not that big of a deal, but I'm going to stagger these plates. And my reason why, good night. My reason why is because I want it to have a little bit more strength to it. So we're going to stagger, we're going to go across. I'm already changing this. Hopefully they're not like, no, don't do that, stop. But I feel like this might be a little bit stronger in the long, yeah, see, that's not wanting to pull apart, which is what we want. We don't want to pull apart. We're putting things on it. We're not going to want this thing to break apart, and I think that's a key and highly important thing right now, is that we're not destroying what we have. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 brackets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of these plates with rails. 1, 2, 1x4s. 2, 1x6s. 1, 2, 1x6 bricks. Alright, and let's line them up. We've got, this one goes in the center. 1 on this end. 1 on this end. A bracket. And then a bracket. Then we've got our brick that's going right across, holding all of that together. And then a plate on top of that. We're making 2 of those, so let's snap those into place. 1, 2, 3. I can't believe I pulled 7. That's going to go over there. Bracket and a bracket. Brick and a plate. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to fix this over here. Alright. And now we're kind of rounding up like the end of bag 2. So there's a lot here. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I have not seen, we did get a bag, but I haven't seen where to put that. So I'm going to have to go backwards a little bit and figure that out. So far, I have not seen a lot of extra pieces. So we're kind of like, we're getting the parts, and then that's kind of it. Like, it's once we get the parts and that's kind of done, we're not getting any more. I don't have any extras. So that's been kind of interesting. Normally you get like a few extras here and there might be like some build options where we get like extra pieces and parts to build with. But this, so far out of 2 bags, and we have not had any extra pieces except for this bag over here, which we'll figure out what that is here in a minute. I have a feeling I missed. I skipped somewhere. So we got that one. one more here. 1 and 2. Boom. 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 And boom. Using those snotted type plates. I mean, in this case, they're brackets, but using those sideways studs in order to create some interesting builds here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just like that. There we go. Boom, boom. There we go. And these are going to be going right here in front. So we got 1 and 2. And that creates a nice, like, look at that. That's got a nice sort of like deco vibe to it. And it's kind of, it drops in a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to go back a little ways. I'm going to go back to the start of 2 here. Okay. And I'm just looking. I want to make sure I didn't miss in here where the bag was. So like I said, I've got this one bag. Ah, there it is. I see. I missed it. It's right there. So when we put this dresser in, this bag would go right there. Okay. And then we'll place that back down. The way that they did their register is actually kind of cute. I dig it. But I want to straighten these up. Okay. Got notes over here. Can we see if there's a way that we can? We cannot. Maybe if I turn it a little bit more like that. We'll kind of do it like that. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Bag 3. And bag 3, it looks like we're adding a lot of detail stuff. I think what I might do is I might, let's see, I got 14 bags. I got, let's see, if I was to break this up into 12, that's 4 days, right? So let's say 12, that's 5 days. It's Monday, right? So I say let's go through bag 3. Then we'll call it a night. I think that'll be kind of good, because we want to be able to get, you know, I want to be able to build it, but also don't want to like really just like wear myself down. I am human after all. You know what? I'm gonna say this because it's only been an hour and a half. So yeah, do one more bag. Bag 3. Bag 3. And then we'll call it the night. We'll do that. I'm going to put all of my other plates and everything else that belongs to this back up in here. And like I said, I'm keeping the numbered bags. I'm keeping those. But I am getting rid of the plastic bags. I don't necessarily need those. But like this, well, I'll keep those. Alright. So we just have these bags, and it's all detail stuff at this point. So we'll be working on details for bag 3. Do bag 3, and then I think we'll call it. And we'll get this done this week. I think that'll be most excellent. Most excellent. Let's see, do I want to do this? You know what? How about this? We're going to kind of look through, see what we got. We got a wheelbarrow. That's actually pretty cool. Got lots of really cool pieces. We got, let's see, that's a daily news. Donuts thief still hungry. I love that. We got a 50% off sign. Nice. We got some signs for some sales. We got this one. It says Sturds oil. I like that. It's funny. We've got this. Looks like some sort of oil can. Number 2. Let's see what else we got. And there's some fun things in here. I figure, you know what? We'll call it tonight. We can finish some of this up on Saturday as well. But you know what? I want to kind of look, see if there's any other fun things. But yeah, we've got there's supposed to be a blue one in here, and the blue one actually has printing on it too. I'm looking for that one, so I can see what. Got number 2. This one is called number 2 as well. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave it at that. We're gonna stop bag 2 tomorrow. I figure we'll try to pick it back up. We'll try to do 2 and 4, then we'll do next ones, and we'll kind of work up that way. Saturday we'll finish it off, because again, I want to make sure that I spend plenty of time, and I also don't want to do this when I'm super tired. So I'm gonna call it a night on that one. So this is day 1 of BBTiloBrix hardware store. So far it's looking nice. Like, here, let me pull this up and kind of look at some of the build and the techniques. We've got the bag over there. The behind the counter stuff is super cool. It'd been cool if we had printing on that for the register. I like how they put the register together, but that would have been good to have, like, you know, key prints, things like that. We did get printing for the phone, which is perfect. Got a nice lamp over here, bottle, some cups, some things like that. Yeah, I mean, this got the daily daily news profits notes, and the notes, it has number 1 XX, number 2 X little XX, number 3 XXX 4. So it's like they don't really have printing. It's just like little. I don't know if I can get close enough so you can see it, but they have like little like writings on there, and they got a compass in the back, some scissors, a bucket, trash bag, drawers, and I believe this actually is going to have some working drawers, or maybe one drawer that's actually out. We'll get into that. We'll check it out as we're building. But I am gonna say I'm gonna call it a night. So I know I had Jeff on here. I want to say, Jeff, thank you. I appreciate you a lot. But we're gonna come back to this tomorrow. If you did watch it and you were here with me and I didn't hear from you and you wrote, I am sorry. I'll kind of go back and look at some point, but I'm going to call it there, and then I think I'm going to come back, same bat time, same bat hour and everything, and we're going to do another couple of bags, and we're going to knock it out that way, okay? Yeah. Hey, I thank you all for showing up. I appreciate the comments, the time, all that. Hopefully this is going to help you in your decision making on this, and it's going to help me figure out parts I like, parts I don't like, and all that to help my review for this company. Okay? Thank you all. I love you all. Jesus loves you more. Nothing you can do about it. Good luck with the build.